I am Mariana Rodriguez, student of Modern Languages and Mastering English class, and I'll explain to you some eras in the extensive story of the United Kingdom. Queen Victoria, 1937, Victorian era. From 1839 to 901, under Queen Victoria I, England was filled with really good improvement in industrial evolution, which, between all, created the smoothing iron, the electric oven, and the paraffin lamps, as well as a big amount of working hands were in the textile sector, as well as the invention of the train, the vapor boat. This era was also known for a drug named opium, which became the madness of the lower Victorians, due to it being used in everything from beverage to medicines. These drugs caused two wars between Great Britain and China, commonly known as the Opium Wars. The First Opium War, which lasted from 1837 to 1842, and the Second Opium War, which lasted from 1856 to 1844-42. Which legalized the opium consumption in the first OW and made the Hong Kong to be a part of Britain's empire in case of the second OW. In these years, the morals in the Victorian era were working to be rich and sober. These were the laws for men at the time, while women were used to stay at home, as they keep it nice and proper, while taking care of the children. Thus, women were commonly known as house angels. But this society was also hypocrite. Why, you may ask? Simply two things: child exploitation and poverty. Many things that are most known today were part of this time period, such as the white wedding dress and the tree on the Christmas time, to say some examples. But what flourished the most were authors such as Bram Stoker and his novel Dracula, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, Lewis Carroll and his most beloved Alice in Wonderland, Oscar Wilde and his tales, Robert Louis Stevenson and his mystery novel The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, as well as Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and his detective character Sherlock Holmes, which became an icon for England in the upcoming years. Now passing, we have King Edward the Sixth. In the Edwardian era, 1901 to 1910, under King Edward the Sixth, England was in the middle of a crisis. The fast industrialization and the feminist suffragette. What was of importance here was the feminist suffragettes and the Aramis Titanic sinking. King Edward was married to Alejandra of Denmark, with whom he had 4 children: Prince Albert Victor, Prince George, the successor to the throne, Princess Victoria, Princess Luisa, Princess Maud, and Prince Alejandro. Funnily enough, Edward treated Prince George as he was more of his brother than his own son. Famous authors like James Matthew Barrie's Peter Pan, Joseph Conrad and his novel of Heart of the Shadows were the ones that made the Edwardian era one to remember. George V. From 1910 to 1936, under George V, England was in a chaotic state thanks to the course of World War I. All British were at war, fighting for their country. This allegedly caused the prince to get rid of all his German titles, as well as changing the royal house name from Sayona-Coburg-Gotha to the most Britannic Windsor. Now passing by, we have King Edward the Eighth. From 1910 to 1936, King Edward the Eighth brief reign of England due to his abstaining to the throne for marrying an American woman named Wallis Simpson, with whom left to the U.S. when he was supposed to marry Viscountess Thelma Furness. Due to his abdication to the throne, George VI was passed to the throne. Passing by to 1937. From 1937 to 1952, under King George VI, he declared war on Nazi Germany during World War II, as he stayed in London to protect his children, Elizabeth and Edward. With this first one will be the heir of the throne after he will die. But back to George, he will be known for his stammering, but thanks to the therapist Lionel Lung, he got a better English grasp, and his determination to win the war will skyrocket his popularity, making George a symbol of resilience in the war for UK. Now passing by to 1952 with Queen Elizabeth, whom reign was the largest of all from 1952 to 2022. It was the largest time a monarch had reigned in the UK kingdom since Queen Victoria back in the Victorian period. What she used to love the most was horses. Elizabeth, or Lilibet, was the only known queen to celebrate her Platinum Jubilee. What she did of importance was donate to many organizations such as the Charity Aid Foundation and the Pembroke Wealth of Corgis. Her most common affections were equitation and corgis. Queen Elizabeth, as well as her son King Charles III, were in the middle of a controversy regarding Diana of Wales for not showing the same empathy as the people regarding her death. Upon that, Elizabeth showed her condolences to the people's princess. On a more light-hearted note, Queen Elizabeth became an icon of the United Kingdom to the whole world. Now passing by to Charles III. Now we pass to the final King of England to date. King Charles, also known as the Eternal Prince, got first married to Princess of Gales Lady Diana Spencer, also known as Lady Di, but due to matrimonial problems and overall not getting along, they broke up. With two sons, Prince William and Prince Henry at his care, he continued his everyday life, and a year later Camilla Parker Bowles will enter in scene, being his long-term partner and marrying her eventually. He was coronated on May 6th of 2023, and he seems to enjoy neoclassical architecture as well as encouraging the understanding of indigenous languages. Thank you for listening.